What's that what's that series that I don't know a lot about but I'm gonna love? Get ready, I'm gonna tell you. What's up, beasties? It's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 series that I have on my shelf. All the books in the series I have, and I have not read them yet, or at least finished the series yet. But there are series that I don't think have gotten a lot of love on BookTube or in general. Some not at all, some a little bit, and maybe some back before my day. But I'm going to talk about these 8 series that I am super excited about and share them with you so that hopefully you can get them on your radar as well. So we're going to start off with the ones that I think have been talked about a little bit. People have probably heard of. This first one especially because there is a movie adaptation in the works with Robert Pattinson playing the lead role. And it's been pushed back. It was going to come out sooner, but now it's pushed back, so who knows when it'll come out. That is the Mickey 7 series. I have the first 2 books. I don't know if there's another one out yet, but the first book, Mickey 7. Second book, Antimatter Blues. They're shorter books, so I definitely want to read these. I need to get into them, but pretty cool stuff about a clone. I will read the synopsis. All right, here we go. Says, Mickey Barnes is an expendable. Now on his 7th iteration, living and dying among his fellow colonists on the near uninhabitable ice world of Niflheim, some consider him immortal. Others believe he's a soulless monstrosity. For the past 9 years, he's been deployed for hazardous assignments and subjected to experiments that test the limits of human endurance, his humanity sacrificed for the greater good. While on reconnaissance, Mickey 7 is injured and left for dead, only to be saved by Niflheim's native species, thought to be insentient by the colonists. Returning to base, Mickey 7 meets his next generation, Mickey 8. Neither clone is willing to recycle himself, but if anyone discovers multiple Mickeys exist, they'll both be executed, and there won't ever be a Mickey 9. So, that sounds pretty good. My guess is he's probably going to kill Mickey 8 and then pretend to be Mickey 8. But what a cool idea. Definitely want to check these out. Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. Yeah, this one has I've heard talked about before too, but not a ton. Probably, maybe even more than Mickey 7. But I still don't think it gets a lot of love, but I am excited to read them, and that is The Court of Broken Knives. This is the first book. The series is Empires of Dust by Anna Smith Spark. I'm sure when these came out, they probably were more popular. I just don't hear a lot of talk about it now. But Grimdark, they've got cool covers. Second one, Tower of Living and Dying, House of Sacrifice. Yeah, I'm excited to check these out. I love Grimdark. I have her book, The Woman, I think is what it's called. A Woman of the Sword. I'll probably read that one first, the standalone, and then get into these. But yeah, I'm excited about these. They sound really cool. I'll read the synopsis of book 1. In the richest empire the world has ever known, the city of Sorlas stands eternal, or so it believes. Decadence has become the true ruler, blinding its inhabitants to the city's true vulnerability. Now haunted by dreams of the empire's demise, Lord Oren Emerith has decided to act. On his orders, a company of mercenaries, love me a company of mercenaries, approached the city to carry out one mission: assassinate the emperor and all who serve him. Most of the company have nothing to lose, but Merith has everything to gain. He is running away from shame and grief, which only the weight of a knife in his hand can banish. Little does Merith know that his destiny awaits in the golden city of Sorlist, A destiny beautiful, bloody, and more terrible than anyone could have foreseen. Sounds pretty sweet. So I'm excited about that one. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then this one was probably a little more popular when it first came out and was self-published and got picked up. But it's one that I haven't heard a lot about since I started watching BookTube, but I am excited to read them. And that is The Gray Bastards by Jonathan French. I think is that the name of the series? Let me see. I could be wrong. I feel like it's like the Lotlands or something. Is actually the name of the series. Let me see. Now that's gonna bother me. Probably should have checked this first. Yep, Lotlands. Um, First book, Gray Bastards. Second book is True Bastards. Third book, The Free Bastards. And these spines are cool on the shelf by each other. But I'll read you what the first one is about. It's pitched as Sons of Anarchy in a fantasy world, which is pretty sweet. All right. So the tagline says, "Live in the saddle, die on the hog." Call them outcasts, call them savages. They've been called worst by their own mothers, but Jackal is proud to be a gray bastard. He and his fellow half-orcs patrol the barren waste of the Lotlands, spilling their own blood to keep civilized folk safe. A rabble of hard-talking, hog-riding brawlers they may be, but the bastards are Jackal's sworn brothers, fighting at his side in a land where there's no room for softness. And once he's in charge, as soon as he can unseat the bastard's tyrannical, seemingly unkillable founder, there's a few things he'll do different, but better. Or at least that's the plan, until the fallout from a deadly showdown makes Jackal start investigating the Lotlands for himself. Soon he's wondering if his ambitions and his arrogance have blinded him to ugly truths about this world and the bastard's place in it. So yeah, it sounds pretty sweet. I love Sons of Anarchy. So this is one that's been at the top of my TBR forever, and definitely going to get to it soon. Lotlands, The Gray Bastards by Jonathan French. All right, and the other one, so I had four that have been kind of, people have probably heard of, and then I have four that most people probably haven't heard of. So this is the last one that I think people have heard of, and there's a couple of series that's set in the same world. The first one is The Articles of Faith by David Ragg. Sweet covers. I found these because I have, of course, Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames, which I have not read, but definitely going to this year. And these covers remind me of it, and they're just so cool. The Blackhawks and the Righteous. And then there's also a sequel series that has a new one coming out this August called Company of the Wolf, and the first one's The Hunters. And this is, what is this series called? I thought it said on here. Oh. I guess maybe it's just a continuation of Articles of Faith. I thought this one had a name. Anyways, that's coming out in August, so now is a great time to hop into this world. I'll tell you I'll read the synopsis for the Blackhawks. Again, life as a knight is not what Vadran Shell imagined. Bound by oath to a dead-end job in the service of a lazy step-uncle, Shell no longer dreams of glory, he dreams of going home. When invaders throw the kingdom into turmoil, Chell finds his opportunity in the chaos. If he escorts a stranded prince to safety, Chell will be released from his oath. All he has to do is drag the brat from one side of the country to the other, through war and wilderness, chased all the way by ruthless assassins. With killers on your trail, you need killers watching your back. You need the Black Hawk Company. Mercenaries, fighters without equal, a squabbling, scrapping pack of rogues. Prepare to join the Blackhawks. Yeah, that sounds sweet. Definitely excited to check out Articles of Faith World by David Ragg. All right, now these next four are ones that I have never heard anything on BookTube about. besides me mentioning one of them. But the first one is one that is definitely on the top of my list to finish. Read the first 2 books, love them, and the first book was on my top 10 books of all time, and that is the X Heroes series by Peter Clines. Walking Dead meets Avengers. Superheroes protecting a strip of humanity that survived a zombie apocalypse. And these are the sweet new covers that they got. X Heroes, X Patriots, X Communication, X Purgatory, and Exile. That's very cool covers. I'll read you what from X Heroes, the first book. Stealth, Gorgon, Regenerator, Cerebrus, Zap, the Mighty Dragon. They were heroes, using their superpower abilities to make Los Angeles a better place. Then the plague of living dead spread around the globe. Billions died, civilization fell, and the city of angels was left a desolate zombie wasteland. Now, a year later, the Mighty Dragon and his companions protect the last few thousand survivors in their film studio-turned fortress, the Mount. Scarred and traumatized by the horrors they've endured, the heroes fight the armies of ravenous ex-humans at their citadel's gates, lead teams out to scavenge for supplies, and struggle to be symbols of strength and hope the survivors so desperately need. But the hungry ex-humans aren't the only threats heroes face. Former allies, their powers and psyches, hideously twisted, lurk in the city's ruins. And just a few miles away, another group is so slowly amassing power, led by an enemy with the most terrifying ability of all. This book was so good. Can't wait to get back into that series. All right, next up we have another really fun series. This is, I think the series is called Ghosts of Manhattan. The first book is Ghost of Manhattan by George Mann. He also does a cool steampunk detective series called Newberry and Hobbs, which I like a lot and want to finish that one. And he's done a lot of Sherlock Holmes stuff. I think he's writing. I think he's been doing some comic book stuff and maybe some Warhammer stuff. But anyway, this is his series. It's very cool. It's kind of a mix of alternate history, superhero, steampunk, Lovecraftian horror ideas. But it's basically like if Britain had won the Revolutionary War, and America is still kind of part of Britain, but it's set in America, which is very cool. But in that kind of setting, very Victorian feel because it's still part of England and Britain. Steampunk, and this is a Batman-like hero. It's set in the 20s in New York City, and this is the Ghost. He is really cool. You know, he's got his alter ego Playboy. But then he's got cool like steampunk inventions and like rocket booster on his back to help him fly around. He wears these cool goggles and has cool like guns and gadgets and to fight crime. It's just a really cool series. I really love it. I think I read the first 3 books, and I think there's only 4, maybe 5. I only have 4. I don't know if there's a 5th one or not, but anyway, first one is Ghosts of Manhattan. Then Ghosts of War, Ghosts of Karnak, and Ghosts of Empire. And they redid these covers too, and they look really cool, all together different colors, but they made them look a little beat up, like vintage 1920s paperbacks. It's really cool. From Ghosts of Manhattan. 1926, New York City. It's the roaring 20s, but not as history remembers it. Coal-powered cars line the streets, while zeppelins and biplanes patrol the skies. The U.S. is locked in a bitter Cold War with the British Empire that still covers half the globe, and the lost generation is drinking away the nightmares of the trenches. In Manhattan, a rundown police force is losing the fight against a tide of powerful mobsters, and against one in particular, the Roman. His henchmen, not all of them human, stalk the streets, and the body count is rising. It's a time in need of a hero. It's a time in need of the Ghost. Ooh, I gotta get back into that one ASAP because this is such a good book. It's very, there's nods to a lot of things, Batman included, and it's very good. Excited about that one. All right, my last two, definitely I have not heard anything about. Um, this first one, I just love the covers because I love Chris McGrath covers. He did the um, Dresden Files covers, and so I saw these. I'm like, oh my gosh, those look so cool. And it's is this the first one? Yeah. Um, Titan Shade by Dan Stout. Awesome series. It's the Carter Archives. That's Carter. I'll read to you what it's about. It's set in science fiction fantasy city that's got all these different kinds of aliens and humans, and I'll read about it in a little bit. But anyway, we've got Titan Shade. It's the first one. We've got Titan's Day. It's the second one. And Titan Song is the third one. I've read most of the first book, and I really love it. It's back from the time when I would find a book, love it, read a bunch of it, and all of a sudden do something else or get busy with life and not go back to it. This is definitely at the top of my list to finish. These books are so cool, and the writing's so fun. And I actually talked to the author, Dan Stout, a little bit. He's really cool. Got a signed copy of his first book. I think just the first one, yeah. Really nice guy. Definitely down the road when I have enough subscribers to make it worth it for him, I'd love to have him on to talk to him. He's a really nice guy. And I'll read to you what Titan Shade is about. Carter is a homicide cop in Titan Shade, an oil boomtown where 8-tracks are the state of the art. Disco rules the radio, and all the best sorcerers wear designer labels. It's also a metropolis, teetering on the edge of disaster. As its oil reserves run dry, the city's future hangs on a possible investment from the reclusive amphibians known as squibs. But now negotiations have been derailed by the horrific murder of a squib diplomat. Which, side note, it kicks off with that murder happening and them investigating the scene, and it's hilarious because the thing's blood is all over the place, but their like blood has like a sweet smell to it. It makes you super hungry, and it makes you want to like eat them. So it's just a very interesting way it kicks off. The pressure's never been higher to make a quick arrest, even as Carter's investigation leads him into conflict with the city's elite. Undermined by corrupt coworkers and falsified evidence, and with a suspect list that includes power-hungry politicians, oil magnates, and mad scientists, Carter must find the killer before the investigation turns into a witch hunt, and those closest to him pay the ultimate price on the filthy streets of Titan Shade. Oof, sounds so good. And this is his partner that he gets placed with. It's this alien species that they have this awesome like mouth, and it talks a lot about when they like stop to grab food and he's watching him eat with these mandibles coming out, and it's just so good. And their banter back and forth, like he's kind of like the over workaholic cop that nobody likes and like looks down on, but of course he's the hero. So this series looks really good. Definitely cannot wait to check this one out and finish it up because these are awesome bangers. All right, and my last one, I have all these books because I found the first one. I remember where I saw it. I think just in a Barnes and Noble once, and I thought it was so cool. I ended up getting them all. But it's called the first one's called Morte, and I think it's War with No Name, War with No Name trilogy. You've got Morte, the first one, Cul-de-sac, which is like a little novella, Dark or Diarc, and Malefactor. Are sweet looking covers. I'll read to you about from the first one, Morte. A war has begun with human extinction as its goal. The instigator of the war is the colony, a race of intelligent ants who for thousands of years have been silently building an army that would forever eradicate the destructive, oppressive humans. Under the colony's watchful eye, this utopia will be free of the humans' penchant for violence, exploitation, and religious superstition. As a final step in the war effort, the colony uses its strange technology to transform the surface animals into high-functioning, two-legged beings who rise up to kill their masters. Former house cat turned war hero Morte is famous for taking on the most. I think actually his name's Mort because the E is always in parentheses, so it's probably spelled Morte, but his name's just Mort. So I should stop saying Morte. Mort is famous for taking on the most dangerous missions and fighting the dreaded human bioweapon IMSA, EMSAH, IMSA. But the true motivation behind his recklessness is his ongoing search for a pre-transformation friend, a dog named Sheba. When he receives a mysterious message from the dwindling human resistance claiming Sheba is alive, he begins a journey that will take him from the remaining human strongholds to the heart of the colony, where he will discover the source of IMSA and the ultimate fate of all of Earth's creatures. I mean, if you have a cat or dog, like, that's sweet. And then, like, this little picture back here shows one of the super ants with Mort. Like, that just looks cool. Is all I got for you guys. So there are 8 awesome series I have completed on. I have not completed. Those are 8 series I have the full collection of on my shelf that I am excited to get back to and finish or read for the first time. And I hope you will think about checking them out too. Yeah, that's all I got for you today, guys. If you have not yet, please like and subscribe. That helps the channel grow. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know what you think about them. Or just say hello, because I love that too. And until I see you in the next video, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly.